Hey everybody, welcome back to Let's Play Recore. I'm Nye.
I'm Mako, and it's once more back into the breach.
Pretty much, we're going into the shifting sands, into the actual sand now. I should be high enough level to deal with whatever the hell is out here. We have 32-ish cores that we're looking for. I say ish because we actually don't, like, no, we do know how many we need, don't we? We got 48, there's 80 total, there's 32 left. That's how math works.
Right. There's 80 total, and apparently to finish the game, you need 45. To get into all the areas, you have to have 75. To get the achievement, you need all of them.
And so we're obviously going to go for all of them, because that's basically just what I do. I go for everything.
Assuming you don't get glitched out or anything.
Which, hey, let's not talk about that. That could happen. So let's fight our way through. So, thing is, we have this gigantic section of the map. So what we're looking at, it's this entire section right here. It's a very large section of the map that I haven't even looked at yet. Because the last time we were here, there was just kind of lots of damage and stuff going on here. I was told I couldn't face... That's a prismatic. Gimme. The hell's this thing?
Like
it wants to be a
spider.
Yeah, it wants to be a spider, but it isn't.
Huh.
So, Mako, since we're going to be out here doing nothing, we should probably talk about something. How do you feel about games that reinvent themselves? Specifically series.
I'm gonna need a qualifier here.
Okay, so the one that I'm talking right now is the game of the hour in reality right now, the new Pokemon titles, Pokemon Sun and Pokemon Moon.
Ah.
So, I know you haven't actually had a chance to play them yet, but have you heard about the changes that have been made to the Pokemon design in the new series?
The regionals?
Not just that. There's a lot of changes. Let's go ahead and preface this to all that are listening, that there may or may not be spoilers. Mako, do you care about spoilers in Pokemon games?
Pokemon? No.
Okay.
Like, there is a lore, but not enough of it for me to care.
Okay, so there's going to be spoilers ahead, so, you know...
You have been warned.
I'm playing Recore. You can just go ahead and turn off the sound, and you're not going to miss anything. Okay, so there's been a number of changes that they've made to the Pokemon. Let's not do that. To the Pokemon main idea. So the first thing, the thing that Mako was talking about, is the regional Pokemon variants. So I'm actually personally against this particular idea because I think, number one, that it's lazy, and it kind of gets rid of what I like about Pokemon. But regional variants means that there is among other things, Rattata, Ninetales, Rattata, Vulpix, Sandshrew, and I can't remember what other ones. Dugtrio, and Diglett, therefore.
And the Executor.
Yeah, Executor. And I think there's others, too, that have gotten what's called a regional variant. So these are Pokemon that have already existed in previous games that have some additional version that were added. Now, these are not forms, which we have seen before. So we're not talking about how a couple of Pokemon in previous games had different looks depending on which game you got them in. Because, you know, back in Black and White, they had a couple new Pokemon they introduced that depending on what season you caught them in, it would change what they looked like, things like that. These are not forms. What we're talking about is actually completely different versions of the Pokemon with completely different types, completely different movesets, completely different looks, everything, based in the Alola region. And so what kind of gets to me is that we have someone like Ninetales where, or once again, Vulpix, that has gone from a fire type to an ice type, with appropriate, you know, look change and all that good stuff. So, how do you feel about that, Mako?
Okay, I'm not against the idea myself. Like, I get the point that the idea they're making, and I like the idea in general. What I have the issue with in my particular case is the particular element
That they just completely flip the elements on that one?
Well, it's not just that they completely flip the elements. You're in frickin' Hawaii. Why are they ice type?
Okay, to be fair, I have been to Hawaii. There are ski resorts. Like, there is ice, even though I know it's a tropical resort. There is, like, freezing areas.
I get that.
And keep in mind, those aren't the... Like, for example, Rattata went from normal type to dark. So it's not just a flat everything's ice. It's... some of this stuff has just had some basic changes. And some of them were changed based on lore. For example, I know that the reason why Executor was changed is that it's supposed to resemble a dragon fruit plant. So its look was changed to actually mimic dragon fruit with the very large, very long, like, trunk of that. And they made it dragon type because that fit the joke. So I know there's something like that, and I would not be surprised if there's a similar thing for Rattata and other, is there something down there? No. Other things like that.
I mean, like, yeah, I get what you're saying. It's just, I'm not against the idea. It's just I find the implementation a bit odd, but I don't know. It makes sense. Someone else pointed out, a friend of mine, sort of made the same observation. This is something that they basically said that the Pokemon in this world were, they are the stand-in for animals, and animals do not grow up the same way in different in different places. So. Yeah.
So,
it makes sense.
It's understandable, but, in the real world, we have completely different species. Like, it might be, there's possums that are different in one area than they are in the other and things like that. Foxes that are, we have the, what is it? We have the Arctic fox up in the Arctic Circle, and then we have the fennec fox that lives in Africa. Apparently they're both foxes, but they're different. So, for me, it's the idea that, we had an idea. I'm trying to see, there was this door thing down there. I'm trying to see if there's a back way into that, or if that's just an environmental look. I think for me, it's they had an idea and didn't have enough design space to run with it. They wanted to have, like, an ice fox of sorts, and saw that they ran into the design space that Vulpix was already sitting in. So instead of coming up with a slightly different idea, they just said, let's just make an ice Vulpix. Which just feels a little bit lazy to me. I don't know, maybe it's a brilliant idea, I don't know. I have so far not run into them in my own gameplay. But it's just one of those weird things. It's like, okay, this is a little bit of a different change, and this feels like change for the sake of change, as opposed to some of the other changes that I want to talk about that actually feel... smart and useful. This is a little bit of a weird graphical glitch.
Okay, what other kind of changes? I've heard of the battle aftercare.
Okay, so let's talk about battle aftercare. So this is one of those that I think is a good idea. It just feels like kind of a weird one. So what you can do, anybody who's played Pokemon XY or Mega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire is probably familiar with Pokemon Ami. This was a slightly mini-game or side story to Pokemon, which allowed you to kind of care after your Pokemon, pet them, play minor games with them, and this increased an affection rating that was a little bit different from the previous affection. Pokemon already had an affection rating, which was simply how much a Pokemon liked you, and that was a growth that happened based on things like how many steps you took with them, how long they've been in your party, how many times they've leveled up, how many items you've used on them, things like that. And some Pokemon, for example, a Happiny into Chansey, Pichu into Pikachu, so on and so forth, evolved based on this. So in Pokemon Mega Ruby, Alpha Sapphire, X, and Y, they introduced the new Pokemon Ami, which was a friendship rating based on how well you took care of your Pokemon by grooming them and playing games. This has changed in Sun and Moon into I forget what they call it. I think it's just called like Pokemon grooming or something like that. Same concept. So you're grooming them, you're petting them. It added a new style into it in that you have the ability to help.
You can treat their status ailments and whatnot after battle for free if you're willing to look after. In fact, from what I understand, if they have a status ailment, they will actively, like it'll say after the battle, it'll give you the option to boot, directly into that after the battle.
Well, it's not just a status ailment thing. It actually recommends that after any battle where your Pokemon took damage, and it helps increase their affection rating. Remember, high affection ratings have many extremely broken results, including increased chance to land criticals, increased chance to land status effects, and the ability to ignore criticals or completely ignore status effects.
Another example, a friend actually told me, there's also a chance that they will outright not die when they should because they want you to be proud of them.
Yeah, they just don't. It's I will not just fall over because I don't want you to worry about me. That's actually how the game portrays it. So it's this it's kind of goofy, but you know it's a thing that exists. So you know I think it's kind of a nice thing. I'm especially kind of a big fan of the I don't have to worry about status effects because things like what is that? Things like poison and stuff like that, which previously you had to have something on you to fix, is no longer a problem. Okay, well, apparently this is a thing. This is just a light that's just sitting here for no reason. It's not attached to anything. There's just a light here.
I think that's supposed to be the equivalent of the Arctic sort of tracking lights.
Yeah, I was thinking the same thing. I mean, it might be, but it's just kind of weird. No, actually, that's actually not one of the ones I was going to talk about. I don't have any problem with that, and it's not intrusive. So that's actually not one of the changes. It didn't really change much for me. This is something that I kind of expected, okay, this makes sense. And this is something that, you know, I kind of expect to be a thing. One I'm thinking of is, how about the call for help system? Have you heard about this?
No, I haven't.
So call for help is something that gets introduced very early on in the game. And the idea is that the Pokemon, once it reaches, I forget what it is, it's something like 10% health, something like that, is able to call other Pokemon of its or other species and bring them into the battle, turning the battle from a 1v1 battle into a 2v1 in their favor. Among other problems, for those people who know about Pokemon battles against wild Pokemon that have multiple wild Pokemon, because that's not a new concept, this means that you're unable to catch the Pokemon until there's only one left. It also means you're facing two Pokemon, which can be a problem. So far, before I even go any further, Mako, what are your thoughts on that?
I don't like the idea, and yet at the same time, like, I've seen it happen so many times before, I think I've become inured to it. Okay,
so let's talk about where this becomes a problem.
I've already seen, like, a comic making fun of the concept of, you know, the swarm of Zubats.
Oh, you don't even understand, because the call for help system is inherently broken. Anybody who's played Sun and Moon may have already experienced the bullshit, but if you haven't, let me describe how the bullshit works. So, call for help, I think is a cool idea. You know, I like the idea, especially because I recently, it took a while, but after 18 hours of gameplay, about 12 of which call for help was active, maybe a little bit less than that, I finally had a call for help where a Pokemon called in a Pokemon of a completely different species. It may be this completely different species is not meetable unless it's in a call for help situation. So, if that's the case, then call for help becomes useful.
I was gonna say, I think there might. I am thinking of getting this, but just not right now because my money is spoken for. But I was looking up like what games, you know, what Pokemon are unique to a particular game. I think there actually are a few that do that.
Yeah.
The only way to get them is to either trade for them or have them call for help.
Right. So, okay, right now this spot's safe. Okay, so there's nothing up here. Let's go fight the big floaty thing that was over here. Okay, so here's the problem with call for help. So first of all, call for help triggers at the end of turn without using a move. So the problem with this is that call for help can activate at any time. So that's the first problem. You can't stop call for help because it doesn't take your opponent's move. It just happens at the end of their turn. The second problem is, as far as I can tell, there is no limit to how many times an enemy Pokemon can call for help. and no limit to how many times they can be helped with Call for Help. What this means is that you can have nearly unlimited Pokemon against you that simply will not stop.
Oh god, okay, yeah, that's the kind of thing I have a problem with.
I actually had a fight against a Psyduck that I was trying to catch that literally lasted for 30 minutes. And it lasted that long because the Psyduck continually called for additional Psyducks. And I tried everything. I tried attack. I don't know what this thing is doing. It's just up there. It's just up there. It's just hanging out in the sky.
Fly kites. Something up in the sky.
I'm being attacked. Yeah, so, Call for Help, there's no limit to how many times they can do it. And even if you kill the original Pokemon, like if you take out the original one that was calling for help, apparently the new one can call for help. So there is literally no limits to how many times you can get hosed this way. So I actually went on a 30-minute break earlier today at work, and over 30 minutes I only was able to fight 2 fights because I was fighting a Magby that called for help over and over and over. And keep in mind, it's at the end of its turn, so I have to kill the Magby it calls in, then wait another turn. And at the very same turn that I kill the Magby, another Magby is summoned. So I can't catch anything, I can't do anything. My only options are to continue the fight or run away. And keep in mind, I wanted to catch the Magby, so running away kind of wasn't an option at the time. So the fight just kind of was endless. It literally took me 25 minutes to finish this fight. And this wasn't like, when I say it took me 25 minutes, you gotta understand, I'm over-leveled. It was a level 19 Magby, and my Pokemon are level 28.
You weren't one-shotting it?
No. I don't know why, but I wasn't. Keep in mind, I was one-shotting the additional Pokemon that were summoned in. I didn't want to one-shot the Magby I was fighting because I wanted to catch it. I was trying to see what happened to that floater, and it just seems to have vanished. Because it was over here last I saw it. I thought maybe this is one of those ones you have to chase or something, but... so yeah, this was kind of endless. And this has happened over and over and over, and it actually gets to a point of unfair. Because I had a party of a full 6 Pokemon party. My Pokemon were over-leveled, so I'm level, like, 25, because I've been catching everything. So my Pokemon are absolutely over-leveled. And I actually got... 5 out of 6 of my Pokemon died, with the final one at 50% health by the time this battle ended, because I would attack the Magby that got summoned in, Flame Armor would 100% of the time activate, burning my Pokemon, then Magby would Fire Spin, so I took 2 lasting damages at the end of it, and then each of them would also attack, so I took 4 damaging, like 4 different unique sets of damage for every turn, while it is infinitely gaining additional Pokemon on its side. So, as you may guess by listening to me, I am not a fan of this. At all. There is very little about this new system that I find particularly appealing, useful, or justifiable. There's something up there. We need to go up there. I'm trying to canvas this area, guys. So if you see me going back and forth, it's because I'm literally going and trying to hit everything. And this is a very large area, and my map does not show me areas I've been to already. So I just have to explore what... Oh, that's a Violet thing. Neat, we can listen to Violet while I talk. Okay, so, that's a thing that I don't like. So let's talk about something I do like. So, Mako, did you hear that gyms are no longer a thing?
Challenges now, isn't it?
So it's a little bit different, and I'll be honest, I'm an old school Pokemon player, so for anybody who knows me, who's heard me talk about Pokemon and things like that, I've been playing since Pokemon Red and Blue. So, and I've played literally every generation since then, many of the offshoots, things like that. So, I'd like to say that as an old school Pokemon player, my opinion should carry a little bit of weight when it comes to something like this. Because, the old school Pokemon players are the ones that you're going to piss off with a change like this. So gyms, as a concept, so when I say gyms, I mean there is a building that you walk into with a gym leader that fights you. and you have some epic battles against him, and you get a badge, and you go to Elite Four. That entire concept's gone. It doesn't exist anymore. Now, I couldn't tell you about post-game content. I'm still waiting to see what post-game looks like, because I haven't gotten nearly there. But gyms have gone. They've been replaced with something called Island Challenges, which I think are really kind of cool. Not only does it stick very well with the Hawaiian aesthetic, the idea is that of the 4 islands that you explore, each island has one or more of what they call captains. Captains are, think, pseudo-gym leaders combined with community leaders. The idea is they run a specific area of the community based on kind of what they are. Each one focuses on a different Pokemon type, and the idea is the entire thing is what they call the Island Challenge. It is a thing for 11-year-old kids to go on their own Pokemon adventure in the islands, and they're challenged in their ability to raise and control Pokemon as they go. And the challenges can be big and small. So they might be challenges of, the ones I faced so far, one of them was just fighting a bunch of normal Pokemon, just tons of them. And I just kept getting attacked over and over and over. And sometimes in these areas there are other trainers, and sometimes there aren't. So it feels maybe like a bigger gym. It feels like there's a chance there may be puzzles later on that I have to solve. But also, every island challenge that I've had to deal with so far ends with what they call a totem Pokemon, which is a Pokemon of the type in question. So if it's the water challenge, you fight a big water Pokemon, but it has some gigantic bonus to it. Maybe extremely hefty defense, maybe extremely powerful offense. It has some moves that it wouldn't normalize have. All of them can call in other Pokemon of that type and species, stuff like that. So you have to first beat, first you have to deal with whatever the challenge is, then you have to beat that Pokemon, and then you may have to also beat the captain in battle before you've finished everything. So it's a very cool, different feeling to, it's a very different feeling than gyms, because it feels a lot more like this is a world you're exploring than it does, this is just a building that I am now going into. Which is, it's kind of neat. I don't know, Mika, do you think that's a better or worse thing than gyms?
I like the idea. I mean, they got pretty creative with your gyms as time went along, but I like the idea of, the slightly more flexible challenge.
Well, what's also interesting is once you beat all of the island captains, you also then have to go into a big, very big staged battle against the island's Kahuna, who is a, very powerful Pokemon trainer who knows a lot and has very powerful Pokemon, so you gotta beat them too. So, it has a little bit of the gym style to it, while still making it about more than just catching and training. I have a feel. I've been told that there's this new thing that you can do. I forget what they call it. It's basically Pokemon Snap. You have the ability to take pictures of Pokemon and do stuff in the wild. And I've been told that the Ghost Pokemon user requires you take pictures of ghosts. I haven't gotten that far yet, but that's the rumor that I was hearing. Which is just, it's a ridiculously cool idea, You feel kind of awesome when, to prove you're a cool Pokemon trainer, you have to actually go ghost hunting.
A feature that I've heard about that I like the idea of is, I'm told that it warns you now, if you're about to walk into somebody's line of view in such a way that's going to start a fight. Absolutely true.
There is a thing that it does now, that when you're getting close to a person that would challenge you to a Pokemon battle, there's a visual cue that you're about to enter their vision cone. So that way you have a chance to just choose not to do it. So that is absolutely true. It's actually very useful, because I've been able to to dodge a couple of fights that I wasn't, most of my Pokemon were down for the count, and I wasn't quite ready for it. So that's a thing. Also worth noting, especially for the old school Pokemon players, hidden machines, so HMs, are also no longer a thing. So this
instead of teaching teaching someone surf, you're basically calling an Uber Lapras.
Right. So for those of you who are familiar with Pokemon Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, you may be familiar with the idea of the Eon Flute, which allowed you to call in Latios or Latias, and you're able to basically fly with them. And they called it Soar, which had its own things you could do. But the idea was that you could fly around and choose the locations you want to land at on a 3D version of the map, which was, in my opinion, that was just cool as all hell. Well, they decided to go for it. So I guess the idea at this point is that, you know, most Pokemon players, and they understand this, most of us had, you know, what we would call an HM slave, which was just a Pokemon like Bidoof, Rattata, so on and so forth, which could catch a lot of the, or which could use a lot of the major HMs, like Surf, Strength, and so on. And we would just use them for all of those, because nobody wants to lose an entire move set, you know, up to 8 move slots out of your total 24 just for those sorts of things. So what the game did instead is it has what they call rideable Pokemon. It adds, so far I have 3 of them. I know of at least 3 more, I believe, that we'll be getting later on. But these Pokemon not only allow you to ride them, which is faster movement across terrain, it's a replacement for the bicycle in some cases. But in addition to that, they also have an effect. The first one you get is Tauros, which not only moves quickly, but it breaks rocks, a la Rock Smash. So it is the HM, in addition to being a very rapid movement system across terrain. Personally, I'm a huge fan of this idea, because it means now I get to have 6 Pokemon with movesets of my choice, and I don't have to sacrifice a good move for the HM I just got that I have to have in order to progress further in the story or further across the map. There's that. Okay. So, guys, we just unlocked a new dungeon, which is way over there. But I also noticed we have a ton of stuff over here I haven't done, because I think the Colosseum dungeon was up on that rock pile right there. And there's a rock pile over there I have to go investigate that we haven't been on top of. I think we also have to be on top of that, too. He is, so that's a thing. Apparently he jumped ropes on his hands. So I think what we're going to do, that thing is opening right now. We're nearing the end of this episode, so I think what we're going to go do is we're going to go activate this, this teleporter. And then we're going to stop for the day. And then when we come back tomorrow, we'll be doing this, and we're probably going to continue talking about Pokemon some more, because there's some more changes that are very, very cool. Okay, so what is this? This is the Forsaken Halls, level 13. Okay, I think we can do this. This is a battle arena. I think we have the 16 cores that we need. Yeah. Let's go ahead and go on in.
Ready for adventure.
She says it's an adventure thing. I think this is a battle arena. I don't know, Maker. Think we should go for this? Think we should do this?
We have yet to do a dungeon that we haven't been able to do, so...
Okay, well, we'll just go do this. Should we do this
but...
episode, is the question.
Oh,
or should we save it for the next time?
Probably save it for next time. This episode's been going a while.
Okay, we'll save it for next time. We'll just go in here, activate Violet real quick. Okay, Violet's been activated. And then we'll go back. So what do you think, Mako? Losing HMs, big deal or no?
Possibly big deal, but not one I'm bothered about, because it works. You know, it's in our benefit.
Yeah. Also, I think it's a very cool thing, too, because it really allows you, in a big way, to have a bigger interaction with Pokemon, which is something I'm really enjoying about this particular style. Because, I'm just trying to see if we can actually create any of these. Ooh, we can finally start creating some of these. Nice. We can get loot quality increases. We can get some loot quality increases, which I really, really want. Anything else? 33% chance of free lethal versus staggered enemy. Interesting. That's also, look at the damage on that. Damn. That is, that's big. That's for Corebot level 27. So that thing's kind of big. Plus 20% health with enemy defeated. So that's a, you know, that's pretty good. I think that I really want to say also those are looking for pristines, whereas the stuff that I'm looking at is asking for sturdies. So I'm thinking we go for this, because this is just asking for sturdies. We don't have to lose our pristines for those. So let's go ahead and build that. Okay, how about, this is all right. Okay, how about hands? Can we do... I think we already did the jets for him. We can do the white krakens. We can do the loot quality increase. Oh, also, let's go back and look at that, because I want to see. So this is the one we want, which we don't have. We need the switches for that. Okay. We need the optics for that. So we don't have the damage for him. And then we don't have the loot quality, so we need to get some amplifiers. That needs to be the next one we track, I think. We can't do orange here because we don't have the springs or the amplifiers. So, okay. Well, let's go ahead and... So I don't... Basically, so I don't forget. Let's get some upgradings on Mac here. So, I think the head's probably going to have to stay the propeller hat because plus 100% loot quality. Anything... This increases his attack by, like, some... Okay, let's just see. Is there any... That's an upgrade. And I haven't upgraded you there. Okay, so that's good. Okay, let's also go and check to see, can we upgrade Seth at all? Yeah, I think one of the things I've been really kind of excited about...
Don't forget to pump their core fusions, too.
Yeah. So we were thinking about doing this once upon a time, the Purple Widowmaker. Because that's health when defeated, but that's also, we mostly just looked at that for the attack value. So... I think that if we could look into Orange Hatchling, that'd be decent. So that's asking for pristines. On the other hand, so 35 versus 49. Okay. That's 48. Once again, we're talking about pristines that we're missing. Anything really big that we could be looking at just to give him a big boost. Oh, okay, so we could do... we could do the weapons array, which is, this is the biggest weapons array we have available for him right now. Interesting that it uses canine sensors. You see that?
Weird.
I think we activate it. I think we, get that so we can give him some extra damage. We also can do it for the augment, so let's go ahead and activate that. I don't think the plus 80% destabilization resist is actually worth all that much, in my opinion. Ooh, nice. Can't do it, but nice. I don't think that's worth anything, in my opinion, but it's there. Okay, let's see something real quick. So let's go to Seth. He's still using a lot of broken stuff. I don't know if you've noticed that. We could give him the disco ball for the lethal recharge rate, but I think what we're going to go do is we're going to give him, let's give him a damage up, because I think he deserves it. What? That's kind of weird. Didn't I have a really good thing for you?
You did, but if I remember correctly, when you first made it, you didn't have the level for him.
No, it's this thing. Didn't we just make this gun for him?
The orange, yeah, the weapons array, yeah.
You notice how it has 0 damage. It's all defense and energy.
Huh, that's not right.
It's a gigantic damage loss, too, which is kind of weird. See that?
Something's really strange there.
There must be a multiplier of some sort. Okay, so we need to get him... We need to look at his legs to see if we can get him a different set of legs, maybe. And we need to look at his gun. So let's look at his legs. We're looking at something that is better than 21, 20, 11. And there's something up with his gun. So looking at legs. Looking for something better than 21, 20, 11. That I don't want to use pristines is the thing, because we're going to need those later. So, sturdies could be good. If it uses sturdy, I'm pretty happy with it. So that's 28, 26, 14. And that's 32, 19, 17. I think we go with this one. let's go ahead and give him that. I'll do all the core bot infusions on my time between episodes. Okay, so attack goes way up, defense goes down by 1 point, energy goes up, and lethal recharge time and reboot time both are taken care of.
Huh.
Okay. That's going to be it for us, guys. We come back next time. More Pokemon talk. We'll see you soon.